Hey, small group. I usually dress up when I come and sit in the office, but I just finished my Monday morning run, and I'm getting ready to go to the North Carolina Annual Baptist State Convention, where I will represent you, along with 5 other Sandy Ridge church members. I am coming to you out of page 117 of our booklet, and this is day 1. In the booklet is after this coming Sunday's lesson, but I feel like this is a good way for us to stay connected. I was talking to class member Michael Franklin yesterday, and we were discussing a weekly get-together time for us to enjoy one another's company. And once again, we had 13 or 14 yesterday morning. That seems to be kind of a regular thing for us. I'm praying the Lord gets us to a regular 14 or 15 in 2020. And I appreciate the good teaching from Doug and Phil and Mike, and I look forward to the fact that we will grow together and our affections one for the other. Anyway, day 1, humanity is getting faster, at least some of us. The world record for a 100-meter dash has 10.6 seconds in 1912, 10.2 seconds in 1936, and 9.9 seconds in 1991. The current world record holder is Usain Bolt. He crossed the finish line in a blazing 9.58 seconds in 2009. Despite this progression in speed, humanity will never be able to outrun the consequence of sin. One man who attempted to do such was King Zedekiah. And today we're supposed to read 2 Chronicles 36, 1 through 14. Just so you know, King Zedekiah is the last king of Judah before the people are taken captive to Babylon in 605 BC. The Word of God says, Then the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king in his father's place in Jerusalem. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he became king, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. Now the king of Egypt deposed him at Jerusalem, and he imposed on the land a tribute of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. Then the king of Egypt made Jehoahaz his brother Eliakim king over Judah and Jerusalem, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. And Necho took Jehoahaz as his brother and carried him off to Egypt. All right, so Josiah's second son now is king of Judah. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years. So Jehoahaz reigned 3 months, Jehoiakim reigned 11 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord his God. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against him and bound him in bronze fetters to carry him off to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also carried off some of the articles from the house of the Lord to Babylon and put them in the temple of Babylon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, the abominations which he did, and what was found against him, indeed, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah. Then Jehoiakim, his son, reigned in his stead. So now we have Josiah's grandson. Jehoahaz reigned 3 months. His brother, also Josiah's son, Jehoiakim, reigned 11 years. And then Jehoiakim's son, Jehoiachin, starts reigning 8 years old when he becomes king. So think about that. That's the second 8-year-old king we've had, Josiah, and then Jehoiachin, his grandson. He reigned in Jerusalem 3 months, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. How in the world can you be evil in the sight of the Lord at 8 years old? How ridiculous is... Did you catch that? Josiah is a godly king at 8 years old, and his grandson, Jehoiachin, is evil. I remember when I was 8 years old. It was my first time at summer camp at Camp Chautauqua in Chautauqua, Wisconsin. I remember Mom packed shampoo for me and soap, and I'm not sure why she did. I finally found a way to shower. I think it was Tuesday of the month, of the week, or Thursday. We left on Monday, came back on Saturday. And I remember showering, and I remember forgetting my toiletries back in the cabin. So I didn't use shampoo, didn't use soap, and barely knew what deodorant was. 8 years old, going into... second grade. Good times. Had my first pair of sweatpants. They had 3 blue stripes on each leg. I remember pretty well. I wasn't really learning how to do evil yet. I was pretty good at it, but it wasn't, this is a new kind of evil for a second or third grader. Okay? Jehoiachin was 8 years old when he became king. He reigned in Jerusalem 3 months and 10 days and did evil in the sight of the Lord. At the turn of the year, King Nebuchadnezzar summoned him and took him to Babylon with costly articles from the house of the Lord, and made Zedekiah, Jehoiakim's brother, over Judah and Jerusalem. So Josiah's son, Josiah's second son, Josiah's grandson, and Josiah's third son, all were kings. 11 years, 3 months, 11 years, 3 months, 11 years, 3 months, 11 years. Okay? Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. He did evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and did not humble himself before Jeremiah the prophet, who spoke from the mouth of the Lord. And he rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear an oath by God. But he, Zedekiah, the third son of Josiah to reign out of 4 kings, the other one being the grandson of Josiah and the son of Jehoiakim. So, it's hard to keep some of these straight, but if you remember that chart, it's up here on the screen in front of me, and we've been giving it out for a couple months now in our class. You'll know that Zedekiah is the bottom guy before Babylon captivity. So anyway, in verse 14 of 2 Chronicles 36, moreover, all the leaders of the priests of the people transgressed more and more according to the abominations of the nations, and defiled the house of the Lord, which he consecrated in Jerusalem. So we need to know this, reading it, going into this Sunday's lesson. This Sunday's lesson, we begin 2 Chronicles, and we will actually look at some of these verses together, verses 11 through 14. But as we go into it, one man attempted to do such, that is, get faster and faster without outrunning the consequences of sin. He tries to run faster but cannot outrun the consequences of sin. Is this 4th king, this 3rd son of Josiah, and he's a proud man and refused to humble himself before the Lord. And when the consequences of Zedekiah's sin finally arrived at Jerusalem's gates in the form of the Babylonian soldiers, he fled with his family. The Babylonians, however, interrupted him, and they interrupted him and intercepted them in the plains of Jericho. Nebuchadnezzar deported Zedekiah to Babylon, but first, listen to this, he left the deposed king with one last tormenting memory by executing his sons in front of him, and then gouging out his eyes with which he just saw his sons murdered. Now imagine that. Imagine if you had 2 little ones, and you have captors at the gates, they kick in the door of your house, and they kill your sons in front of you and then push out your eyes. What a horrible ending. It seems like it would have been much better to humble himself before the Lord. The writer of 2 Chronicles says, dear friends, the writer of 2 Chronicles is probably Ezra, makes a connection between this awful ending and his lack of humility before the Lord. Yes, so he deported, he took care of this. Okay, it's mentioned in 2 Kings 25 what happened to him. And this fulfilled Ezekiel's prophecy that the king would not see the city of Babylon in Ezekiel chapter number 12. And we're reminded that his prideful situation brought death. The wages of sin is death. That's 7 minutes and 45 seconds. We'll see if we can trim that down at all. But if you're lacking on what to do for your devotions today, I've helped you.